Hello everyone, welcome to Physician in the Kitchen. I'm your host, Dr. Monique, the board certified family physician known as the Physician in the Kitchen. My passion is helping busy people discover, cook, and eat delicious plant-based foods without impacting their hectic schedules. And my mission is to fix America's health one plate at a time. I am so excited you've joined me today. Wherever you live, hopefully the weather is starting to get a little bit warmer. And that means it's time to start thinking about the cookout. But wait a minute. You're plant-based or vegan, so what are you going to take to the cookout while everyone else is having hamburgers or hot dogs? Well, I've already answered the hamburger question. Be sure to check out my video on how to make my black bean and mushroom burger. Today, we're going to answer your question on how to make a carrot dog. Oh, you didn't ask that question? Well, you meant to. So here's the answer. Carrot dogs are the plant-based or vegan option to hot dogs. The cool thing about them is they are not processed and they are made strictly from carrots and a little bit of spices and seasonings, and you're on your way. And you can even grill them just like a regular hot dog. But before we get into that, be sure to click the like button, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our plant-powered content. Let's get to cooking. Today's all-star lineup features our carrots already prepped, some tomato paste to add a little bit of umami, some liquid smoke, maple syrup to help with the glaze, and some Worcestershire sauce. And you already know it's Physician in the Kitchen brand, baby. For our spices, we've got onion and garlic powder, salt, oregano, and some anise seed that I ground up in my grinder. Helps to give it a little bit more of a meaty flavor. All right, let's get to cooking. This is how you prep the carrots for your carrot dogs. We're gonna cut off the ends. And if you're going to be eating these on a bun, you want to make them the same length as your bun. You can save these ends and throw them in a pot of water and make some stock, so you don't waste anything. Of course, I've already washed and scrubbed these first. And you want your carrots to be all about the same thickness so that they all cook evenly and cook about the same weight. All right, now we're going to simply peel the carrots. Okay, now if you want to make them look like hot dogs even more, you can take your peeler and kind of just round off the ends so that they kind of look like the rounded ends of a hot dog. You don't have to, and you don't want to take off too much because you don't want to waste your carrot, but just to get that rounded hot dog look, kind of like that. And then once I'm done prepping the carrots, I like to give them one more quick rinse. And now they're ready to be the star of our show. Let's go ahead and add our seasonings. So we've got the liquid smoke, the Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of maple syrup. You can also use agave if you want to. Some tomato paste for a little bit of umami. And we're gonna add in our spices. Onion powder, garlic powder, ground anise seed, and oregano, and a little bit of salt. We're gonna add enough water so that we can submerge our carrots. About 2 cups or so. And then we're gonna bring this to a boil. This literally could not be any simpler. All right, so we're gonna whisk together all of our ingredients. And let them come to a boil. And I always just like to taste to see where things are, see if they're balanced. That is yummy. It's about to be some good eating. I'm gonna put a couple more splashes of liquid smoke in here just because. So once we've peeled our onions, let's go ahead and just poke some holes in them. What that's gonna do, of course, is let our marinade get in there and just flavor these carrots even more. So just a few holes on most of the sides. Be careful, but we want flavor, so we're gonna increase our surface area here by poking these with a fork. Make sure you keep your fingers back and out of the way. My marinade smells good, guys, while it's warming up. Again, I'm gonna put in my plug for smell-o-vision. Whoever creates it will very, very, very happily be one of your beta testers. So we've got our carrots poked and ready to go. Now we're gonna add them to our marinade. Yes. Let's go ahead and get these in here. And perfect. So we've got them nice and submerged. We're gonna let them cook for about 10 minutes. We want them just fork tender, not too soggy. So let's cover them back up and cook them for about 10 minutes and check them and make sure they're the consistency that we want. Let's check our hot dogs, and they are ready. Fork tender, but not falling apart. All right, let's go ahead and swap this out for my grill. So I've got my stovetop grill. It's a little cold and rainy here, so we are doing this in the kitchen. But trust and believe, when the weather warms up and it's pretty out, nice and sunny, these will be on the grill. I'm just gonna use a little bit of the marinade to coat my grill. This is gonna help it to caramelize, because remember, we've got that maple syrup, or if you used agave, so that's gonna help it to caramelize and get those pretty grill marks that we know and love. You want your grill nice and hot because you want to just get that sear, start to get those grill marks, turn them over a couple of times and be done. So we're going to let this get nice and hot. We're going to place these perpendicular so that my grill marks look nice and pretty. I would almost bet if you took these to the cookout, people would be like, what are you eating? And you just have to look at them and say, if you know, you know. If you're feeling generous, you might want to give them a taste. So we'll let them cook for maybe about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You don't want them to burn, you just want them to caramelize and get those nice pretty grill marks. You have to resist the temptation to move them. Just let them do what they do. Oh, look at that. So they get a little darker. And I'm going to baste them with a little bit more of the glaze. Go ahead and turn. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Now I'm about to start doing my little happy dance in a minute. Give them a little bit more of a base. Turn on my fan. All right, these are looking pretty close to being done. So let's go ahead and plate these. Right off the grill, our carrot dogs. Oh wow. Now let's make some vegan baked beans to go along with our carrot dogs. All right, the ingredients for our baked beans, of course, are some canned beans. We've got our bell pepper and onion diced, a little bit of brown sugar, some vegan Worcestershire sauce, Physician in the Kitchen brand, ketchup, mustard, a little bit of kosher salt, and some liquid smoke. Okay, we're gonna get started by heating up our skillet and adding some oil that we're gonna use to cook our veggies. While this is warming up, let's go ahead and turn on our oven because these are baked beans, so of course that means we need to bake them. So let's go ahead and set our oven to 350. And while we are cooking our beans, our oven can be warming up. Let's go ahead and add in our peppers and onions, a little bit of salt. And we're gonna cook these until they soften up, about 5 to 7 minutes. This recipe reminds me of my grandmother. She would make these baked beans when we would go visit her in Alabama. And they are just the perfect combination of a little bit of sweetness, smokiness, and they just feel like, I don't know, love in a bowl. So when I make this recipe, I think very fondly of her. This recipe comes together very, very, very quickly. The longest part of the recipe is probably them baking in the oven, because this part, warming up your vegetables, cooking your vegetables, this actually comes together fairly quickly. So while this is cooking, let's go ahead and get our baking dish ready, because we're gonna mix everything together and put that in the dish to bake. The reason we are cooking our peppers and onions first. We want them to soften up. We want them to release some of that liquid because if you put them in with the beans raw, you might not get the texture that you like. So I always cook mine first a little bit to release that liquid, get them the right consistency, and then they'll finish softening up a little bit more when you add them to the beans. So while our peppers and onions are cooking, let's go ahead and start working on our beans. So I've got my baking dish here. I'm gonna go ahead and add the beans, and here we do want to include the liquid from the can, and we're gonna go ahead and add in some of our other ingredients so that when those peppers and onions are done, they're gonna get added, and then this is gonna get popped into the oven. So we're gonna add in our ketchup. Next is our mustard to give it a little tanginess. Then we're gonna add in our Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of brown sugar. I'm using a dark brown sugar here, which is gonna have more molasses than a light brown sugar, so that you can tweak that however you prefer. And if you wanted to use like a plant-based ground beef in here, you certainly could, or better yet, if you have some seitan that you chop up and you want to add in here, you could do that. But remember, we're going to be serving this with our carrot dogs, so we're not adding any meat substitute in here at this stage. But I will just issue a word of caution. If you are using plant-based meats, those are pretty highly processed, so I would eat those, rarely, not as an everyday or every week kind of thing. Kind of more like a special occasion. And I'm also going to give this a few splashes of liquid smoke. Think summertime when I think of this dish. So our peppers and onions are looking good and done. They've softened up quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and add these to the pot. So not only are we building flavors, but we are adding in fiber and nutrients that we're getting from these cooked vegetables. Peppers are actually a great source of vitamin C. Onions have antifungal, antibacterial properties. And I like mine loaded with peppers and onions. You would, of course, adjust this for your taste preference. Oh, I'm gonna give this a taste to make sure we are where we need to be. Let's put some of this over here. Yummy. It's a little sweet, smoky. Put a little salt in here. Give it a couple of dashes of pepper. Okay, so our beans are ready to go into the oven, so let's go ahead and put them in. Let's cover them first with some foil. And in they go. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes, so let's go ahead and take our beans out of the oven. Nice. They're bubbly, they smell delicious. Let's give it a taste. Oh, just love that. Peppers are softened up even more. The onions all come together so well. Perfect. Just like Grandma used to make. Sweet, smoky, warm, a little tangy from the mustard. These are perfect. So we're gonna let these cool down, and we will then put everything together. Okay guys, it's time for the moment of truth. Time to taste this carrot dog. So I've got some southern baked beans here alongside of it, and I'm gonna just go ahead and taste my hot dog. Now, you can plate this up however you like. You can put it on a hot dog bun, top it with all the fixings, your mustard, ketchup, sauerkraut, relish, chili, you name it. But today I'm keeping it simple, and I'm doing kind of like a Franks and beans kind of thing. So here goes. The beans are sweet and smoky. The carrot dog is smoky, just the right texture. I taste the flavor from the spices that I added, the onion, the garlic, the oregano, the umami from the tomato paste is all coming together. The Worcestershire sauce, the liquid smoke is all coming together. This is a hit. So this is what I'm gonna be taking to the cookout. What about you? So if you're looking for other plant-based recipes or inspiration, be sure to pick up my book, Doc Fix My Plate, The Physician in the Kitchen's Prescriptions for Your Healthy Meal Makeover. Click the link in the description. So remember, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification button so you never miss out on any of our plant-powered content. Until next time, I'm Dr. Monique, telling you to keep it 100. plant-based that is. Be sure to enjoy that cookout. See you next time.